So at this point, it's do or die, and I'm expecting them to approach it in that manner.
And, you know, I got to go back to the aggression factor. They played Isis Thor, which is a combo in the mid and jungle that you really want to get ahead with early. And we saw them try that. We saw the counter gank. We saw the first blood go to Thor. And then the second time actually heads over to the dual lane, and they try to pick off Pain. Pain snuck away because of a beautiful snipe from Vetium on that Neith. Immediately stopped Thor the second he landed, and Pain was able to get out. But after that, there was nothing. That fight got turned. Enemy won it 3 for 2. And then Madruga kind of fell off the map. There was nothing going on from him. So I want to see them, even if they get a little bit behind, they can't be deterred. They need to be aggressive if they have that style of composition. And I think, once again, that factors, I wouldn't say scared, but they felt timid in this game.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of, even from the Chinese players as well, we saw the early game was actually very strong. We saw these first, 5 minutes going into 10 minutes, actually very competitively strong, good farming, good rotations, good ganks. But it's right around then where you're starting just the beginning transitions into the mid game where you're going to start leaning towards more grouping up. It is when we're starting to fall apart here right now for the international teams. Pain Gaming has a great shot at it. They just need to keep moving forward. They can't be giving up as many objectives as they had. And the one thing was they went for the early objective and they got it. They got the Gold Fury, but because of the Gold Fury scaling now, it was not worth it for them when they lost 2 members and then lost 2 towers. It was not even close to being worth for them. So they have to be a little bit safer with their calls as well.
So do you feel like they did a good job though in the picks and bans phase, overall, and and you feel confident about them? It comes down to execution, right? I mean, there's 2 games here, right? There's the picks and bans. That's where you got to outsmart your opponent and try and get what you want, for your team. And then, of course, there's the part which makes this indeed a video game, the part where you have to play the video game. So, Ataraxia, for you, I think, that is something to keep in mind for them. Anything that you want them to change up, though, potentially?
Maybe take away some of their comfort picks, because for me, I know you guys preferred Prey and stuff, but I loved enemies because it is an enemy draft. You know, all of their signature styles were in there, so maybe if they feel comfortable on those gods, try to take them away. Okay, folks, well, here we go. It's going to be time for game number 2, as this is Pain's last stand here. This is the last opportunity that they would have in the Smite World Championships. They have to get together, they have to focus, they have to make this happen. But for Enemy, though, one more. They move on to tomorrow's matchups, where they would actually they would compete against Paradigm, who had one heck of a game today. And there goes that Xing 10 ban right away. Enemy just prefers not to deal with it. Kepri on the other side.
When you're Enemy right now, as far as I care, you want to just run it back, right? If everything goes your way in the first game, you just start running it back. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the same bans, some of the same picks coming out from them.
The question is Pain Gaming going to ban away the Bellona, or do they feel comfortable in that tier versus Bellona matchup? And it was just the fact that Enemy got a little bit too much of a lead for them to handle. And
well,
that's what
I think you know what they're going to go for first.
There's no reason to not first pick Bellona. You run the same bans back, run the same first pick back if you're the winning team.
I find the Athena ban interesting because did we feel that she had the massive impact in the last game, worthy of a ban in the first stage?
I think, honestly, they banned out the Athena because of how well the Geb worked for them. I think they're figuring towards if they can ban out the Athena, the Kepri's already gone. There's only going to be Geb left on the table.
Maybe they're trying to bait the Geb from Pain right here. Maybe they have a strategy. They want Pain to pick Geb.
They want Pain to go. Yeah, because right now,
good.
Geb is the obvious choice going into the support role right now. But at the same time, Soul's on the table, so you have to pick
Do you think
Soul.
we can see the same exact, similar draft, I would say? Because this kind of has started the same way as it did last.
We definitely can out of Enemy. I fully expect to see an Agni, but here comes the Geb being stolen away from Enemy, so maybe this plan is, maybe it's working in the favor.
Maybe they have something too smart in draft.
Yeah, I think
they baited the Geb. I don't know what they have planned for it, but they baited that Geb. I expect to see a lot of ganks on him.
Well, they got that Neith now, so let's see what they do with it. Do they choose to let that be a flex, or do they go for something right away? And there's Janus, and we haven't seen Janus yet in this matchup.
I'm surprised that we haven't been seeing as much Janus as we could have. Janus, one of the strongest mid gods, if not the most general strong mid god in the game. There's no situation where you have a Janus on your team and you're like, wow, I really wish I had something else. But Agni coming out as well for Pain Gaming, maybe they're like, man, the Agni was so strong at Enemy. I'm sure we can play Agni.
Does SchultZen have an Agni as good as Khaos is? Khaos has shown in 2 games so far that his Agni is top tier, maybe the best tier. Can SchultZen match that?
Got rid of that Circuit too. Makes sense. You don't want to have your jungler with that again, right?
I think right now this is actually the Agni pick plus the Circuit ban. This is the mid laner tired of getting farmed last game. He's like, I'm tired of getting killed, so I'm going to go a nice safe pick with Agni. I can always dash away and call it a day.
All right, boys. We're going to see the Bastet come out from Adjust, and he's going to gank Nagare on cooldown. That's what I think is going to happen.
I can see that, yeah.
That's what I
would
think
be
they wanted
pretty
to do.
good.
I think they wanted to get the Geb, because Geb can get picked pretty easily. He has the rollout, but if you can't get it started, very easy to lock down, kind of like Sylvanas and Ymir.
What is Pain going to play, though? Because Geb is gone, Athena's gone, Kepler's gone. Those are his 3 premier gods. Where does he turn to now?
I don't know.
This would be very interesting to see where he goes. I would love to see something
Right?
hyper aggressive though right now. I would love, honestly, even like an Ares out of this team right now would be very interesting.
I was thinking about Ares, but I've never seen Plain Pillow.
I've never seen
I was
Plain
like,
play
it's
Ares
not, he
as well.
can't do it, right?
But
It's
that would be, I mean, you're on land, right? So yeah, there's no ping to worry about hitting your chain. So this would be the time to pull out Ares if you wanted to pull it out. So we'll have to see what he has up his sleeve.
That's a pocket strat. If that is something that Pain's definitely been practicing in private. That's thing. Oh, Hanbots is available as well.
Ares does do very well against Geb, especially when paired with Neith, because they combo the chains, and then Geb actually cannot do anything. He just dies, really.
Yeah, not to mention if you hit the knee through, then you can't possibly miss your chain, so you don't even have to worry about hitting your chains. But we're leaning towards the Bacchus here, which is going to be interesting. That's more of a trick tank style pick.
And
if
they
we
locked
lock
it in.
This is, I don't know how I feel about this. This is not Pain style. Pain style is calculated aggression with the Athena and a very defensive backline type of support. So on a Bacchus, which is more, he's messier. Pain is very clinical, and Bacchus is a messy support. So I am very interested to see how he does in this.
And that could, spell bad for me, because that's the only time that, Pain really falters is when he gets a little bit over-aggressive if his team's behind.
Pain Gaming go for the Sun Wukong?
Break out the monkey.
Bring out.
It looks like he's saying pick it right there, Pain. So, I mean, Bellona versus Wukong, that's a very good matchup for Bellona.
Please take Wukong.
This is a very interesting, I think maybe he has to go for a red pot to even do anything in this lane, otherwise Bellona is going to walk all over him.
All right, does Pain force the game 3? Ataraxia, start with you.
I think this is enemy. I love their draft. I loved it last time. Easy, 2-0.
Enemy all the way.
Enemy.
Okay, I will refrain from, picking here. All right, folks, that is gonna, I'll stay for the last one. That is going to do it for us here at the Alienware Analyst Desk. Let's go ahead and toss it over to the casters.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 of Pain Gaming versus Enemy. I'm Bart, this is Brandon, and we're joined by Roar. And well, looking at that enemy draft, Brandon,
yes.
you're saying like
Yes.
GG at pick 4.
This is, yeah, I mean, as soon as the Humbots got locked in with the Janus Neith, I was looking at that like this is Dunskies.
Global. Very global is this lineup. And Pain, you heard Araxia pointing it out as well, is that that this Sun Wukong into Bellona matchup is a really, really difficult one.
It can be. I mean, Sun Wukong does different things than Bellona. They both have decent damage. They both have decent control. But Sun Wukong's a little bit harder to kill in the end game. The issue is that the idea of Salt Machine falling so far behind Mad, or rather Stalker, that it's going to be even getting to that point after watching game 1 and then seeing that draft is hard for me to grasp.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a really, really tough laning phase for Pain, but maybe they can turn this into a little bit more. But it does look like, guys, that we are ready to get into the game. So let's go ahead and hop in and bring you game number 2 of Pain Gaming versus Enemy, starting right now.
Pain's got a lot to do here, a lot to change. I think their early mentality was good. I like the rotations, but they're not focusing enough on proper Gold Fury fights or proper objective fights. We saw Tier trading out a Tier 1 for a Tier 2. We saw people rushing the solo lane when Gold Fury was a major objective point on the map. I mean, these kind of things have to be fixed, and unfortunately, they don't have a lot of time to practice.
Yeah, Pain's repping the enemy Bacchus skin. That's awesome.
Yeah, we did fail to neglect this as the god with the enemy skin. So enemy Bacchus is going to be making his debut here in the Smite World Championships. He was played earlier in the tournament, but of course not with this lovely skin.
Pain gets 2 pretty decent wards down. Arkanjo's going to see it, stop the back. And that could hurt. Look at the timer there. He actually wanted to back to be able to pick up other things. He's not going to have mana potions now. There's nowhere near enough time for him to get back here. Aurora, how badly is that going to hurt a Bacchus?
It'll hurt him quite a bit, but luckily for enemy, they have Geb. They're laning into Geb, so they don't have to worry too much about mana. They could just kind of stalemate the lane and not really worry about pushing in. They're just not going to be able to play as aggressive as they wanted to.
Of course, now he has belly flop as well instead of Belch of the Gods, which is a little bit higher damage here in the the lane clear. So, well, you know, it's a small thing, but Pain Gaming going to get ever so slightly the better of enemy for the first, well, 15 seconds.
Of course, Khaos, a little bit slower to the lane, just by pretty much the map distance. SchultZen going to take the safe route and just going to dash right through. He does tag Khaos, which is probably a negative considering how much archer damage he just took.
Yeah, that archer damage is huge. Look at SchultZen's health right now. It's just chunked out just from archer damage alone.
Oh, what is this?
Adjust wants to be aggressive over here on the right side. Pain.
Mad lost his teleport there. I think they should have this now.
Oh, yeah, especially going through the wall there, SchultZen, and takes a ton of damage.
Whoa, where are you going?
Oh, Adjust.
Where are you going?
This is not a, this is
Double
not
tap, trying for it. He's stuck, though.
Yes! First blood going to be credited to Thor on the side of Pain Gaming.
That was the I'm feeling myself from last game play.
Yeah.
Watch me do things.
And he also lost his 450 pop. That's huge.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, that's just, you know, you heard Brandon mention it, but I mean, that's really like when you play a 30-minute game in which you're so dominant, you're playing Circuit, and then you get in, you're like, oh wait, I'm level 1.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to go back to level 1 after you've been playing so well at level 20.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough start for enemies. They're also losing both mid camps, the first split, and his 450 pop. That's 3 big things in the early game that they just lost.
And Pain can't like help him clear. If he does, he's going to get caught out and die. He doesn't have enough mana to really control the lane, and he did take Chug. He's trying to keep it balanced. It's going to be hard for him to do.
Some Wukong losing this trade even with the archers there, and that's the difference between mages and warriors in the laning phase. I mean, Bellona perfectly happy to shrug off a few hundred damage.
He should have stayed there. He should have fought that. I mean, taking the bludgeon damage with the archers there, as long as he spreads the damage out so it doesn't hit him and the archers, he probably could have won that engagement. But I think saltmachine has put a little bit of fear into him. Tyr was his go-to god. I mean, the analysts, me, Aurora, we all predicted that that was going to be the god that was going to be picked, and he still lost the lane. He's got to be shaken.
Yeah, he can't even approach the wave, really, as Bellona will proxy clear it and push forward, hit it with a Scourge as well. Stalker can have a hard time keeping the minions out from underneath his tower through probably the first 4 minutes.
That final cudgel there is not going to get him anything. It's a use of mana. He doesn't back. That could wind up coming back to haunt him.
And another thing to keep in mind is Stalker has a red pot, and he's also getting pushed into towers.
Wait, Stalker has a red pot?
Yeah. Look, go back to Stalker right now. Look, see?
What in the world? And saltmachine's winning against Wukong. How does that happen?
Positioning.
Bellona.
Oh, it was the crab. What was that? Bellona? Yeah, sounds like Bellona.
Yeah, Bellona.
I'm telling you, that cinematic is canon. Like that is the storyline of Smite right now. He's gonna finally go back, but I mean that's 3 minutes down on the potion. I didn't even realize he had. What the? Hey, they're still winning though.
There was there was a Thor ultimate there that nearly would have been enough. I mean, they would have been able to get in there before Just hit level 5 and really put him behind if they find that kill.
Just is still level 4 at 3 minutes. Jeez.
A slow start certainly from enemy, but we've seen them recover fairly well throughout this tournament.
That's true. I mean, they are the. I feel like the first blood doesn't hurt them. I feel like it makes them more powerful. They were down 0-4 against Envy at regionals and won that game. And then yesterday against, what was it, Fnatic, right?
Yeah, Fnatic.
Yeah, they were down
They were
all
getting
game.
bodied.
But the difference here in this game is, compared to the Envy game,
Brazil instead of Europe?
Well, they died before the red pot was on. Now he died while his red pot was on, and they lost both mids.
That's true.
In the Envy game, they just got invaded on before the bus were even up.
Right, but it was 3 kills. Like, how do you come back from that deficit so cleanly? It looked like they controlled almost the entire game after like the 10-minute mark.
Well, just through 4 here, it does look like Pain is going to enjoy this early laning phase advantage, and they haven't given anything back just yet, sitting on just about 600-700 gold.
Yeah, I'm surprised why they didn't contest the purple buff there. They have a Thor with red pot, and they have a...
And now he's leaving.
Yeah,
I guess he's just like, do you think they're going to do it? How do you think they're going to? Let's watch.
Looks like they may want to try to take a fight at the mid camps here is Pain. As Thor moves forward, he's going to stun out Adjust, and Adjust really does seem to be the target. And look how much damage Mjolnir's attunement does. Oh my.
Agni bomb thrown out as well. The meteor not going to do much. Adjust also does have a health pot ticking, so no worries just yet.
I guess with what we saw there out of the hammer toss from Thor, you get a good idea of what his build-up is. It's a 3-1-1-1 build.
Oh, jumping in on the left side. They're going for it. SchultZen very low, going to be picked off. That's 1 for 1 now on the board.
Yeah, and no Thor ultimate in response. In fact, he does ult, but it's not in time, and he goes over to just simply the orange buff. So, yeah, that's 2 Thor ultimates now that haven't really resulted in any kills.
Well, I felt like Pain there should have just stayed grouped up. Thor went for the right camps while the support in mid went to the left. I feel like if they were grouped, enemy would have not been able to do that to them.
My big thing was that the Geb used the shockwave from like mid-range on just the camps. Didn't save it for the fight, didn't save it for the secure. It seems like they thought that they had that for free, and they very clearly did not.
Like the 4-man split on the back camps.
God bless.
Hey, you know, when you absolutely must maximize.
That's...
No, you don't like 4-man splits on back camps?
No, please. Stop.
What if you had 2 Bumbas masks?
Oh, I can't breathe. Far. Oh, Stalker going to take some damage there, force into the animals again.
Now we're seeing the more kind of traditional Sun Wukong play out of Stalker here. And early it seemed like he was a little bit hesitant to kind of move forward and go for the Cudgel, Master's Will, and Ox back through. But there, I mean, it is a little bit more effective, obviously much more mana intensive, but a good clear.
Salt Machine's in such a good spot. I mean, he's 400 gold up plus
He's
the
1,000
450
gold
pop.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's 900 gold that he just gained in this lane for what seems like no reason. Bellona.
Bellona.
Khaos's Janus hasn't really factored in too heavily yet into the game. I mean, that first kill did, for enemy, did result, you know, was as a result of the burst coming out from Janus. But we haven't seen that big rotation just yet. Madrugadao taking just an absurd amount of damage. Looks like he got hit by Bludgeon and a first hit crit out of a Just on the Hun bots.
You'll notice a Just ult there. He was saving it for a little while longer to guarantee that if Thor decided he was going to throw the hammer a little bit later, he was going to be picked off. Didn't use his jump to ensure he could follow up if necessary. Really good play.
Doing what he can over here is Stalker. And I think, you know, going back to what Ataraxia said, he's right on the mark. I mean, this is just, Incon was saying it as well, nearly an unwinnable matchup for Sun Wukong now, given the adjustments to both him and Bellona. And now he's forced up into the Sun
Wait,
Wukong
now
crowd.
there's 2 of them. Maybe they can win now. No, that was part of the trailer too. Never mind.
Blue buff has come back out, and Sun Wukong has been forced out of the lane. See if Salt Machine recognizes this and goes for that kill. Knockup's going to come through onto Arkanjo. Just going to do what he can as well, but without any additional CC. Hard to keep that soul. Oh, man, the second time now that Just is going to get out of the way of a Thor ultimate. Continuing to fight here in Pain Gaming. The Bond's coming down. PainDeViande will go down indeed to SchultZen. Khaos putting a ton of damage in through the wall. Stalker does not have the ultimate still available, but will get out just fine for now. Purple buff going to be aggressed by enemy. It's a 3v5 for the moment.
Someone probably will need to back to deal with Bellona in just a few seconds. They've done decent damage, but I feel like they're getting baited by the presence here. They shouldn't take this as a fight. They should take this as an opportunity to spread back out around the map and continue farming.
Bellona does take the back camp. She's going to take a blue camp as well for free and get the better part of a wave, it does look like. So maybe not the best decision to leave Bellona out here on an island, although to be fair, Stalker hasn't really been preventing too much farming on a Salt Machine.
Look at the XP difference right now, 2,500, even though they got the first blood and they got a Just in the grave earlier, he wasn't able to farm.
I mean, Salt Machine's at 760 per minute, just about. Next highest is 665 on his own team. Wukong's over 170 behind, and that's his own lane.
And look at a Just, he's ahead of Thor, even though he died early. That's crazy.
Like, to get over 800, it would mean that, like, the Thor was ulting to the soul lane to feed Salt Machine underneath his tower on, like, cooldown, right? I mean, like, this is an absurd amount of XP per minute.
I don't understand. I mean, realistically, Wukong has some of the safest and cleanest clear in the game. You can walk away from the wave, just let her clear, and you'll almost out-clear her every time, at least in the early game. But it doesn't seem like that's what he did. He was trying to trade out because he had the red pot, and I think Salt Machine just got the better of him.
Well, yeah, I mean, how are you realistically supposed to handle this? I mean, Bellona's Bludgeon's just doing so much damage to Sun Wukong. I mean, there's the answer right there, right? I mean, you have to Oxform the knockup almost every time, but the Neith ultimate's keeping him just so honest. I mean, you saw it right there. Summerstar Cloud force out yet again by Vetium targeting Stalker in the right lane.
Looks like we're going to get their jungler going back to the base again. It's a lot of trips back to the base for Thor, a lot of trips back to the base for Wukong. I think that's kind of where these leads are coming from. Check it out. We actually have Hunbot's back on, not only on par in gold, but he's ahead of him in experience pretty cleanly. It's a level now, whereas I think it was 6-4 in favor of Thor, yeah?
Yeah, totally recovered.
And he's also down 600 gold in the early game, and now he's ahead of him by like almost 50 gold now. That's crazy.
That's really good farming, and I think this is something that adjusts, and I hate to point it at it, but it's ranked. It's playing lots and lots and lots of ranks, you know, learning when your team falls behind, you're with it, and you learn how to carry games. When people tell you there's no elo hell, it's people like Just that could tell you that because he knows how to get out of it. It's that kind of being able to play from behind in the early game that makes him such a good player, and then his late game team potential is amazing.
Another thing going off of that, enemies just gotten so good at splitting camps. During Super Regionals, they weren't as good as they are now at splitting camps, and I feel like they've gotten so much better at it.
Ooh, pressure into the jungle here, just leading the charge. I think they're looking to see if they're doing back camps, which they do intend to do. PainDeViande leading the charge now as he sees the red buff is available. Just going to scoop around. I think they're going to make a contest here.
Yeah, with 3 members and a fourth in the wings in terms of the Neith. There's also a wave being pushed into the tier 1 tower on the left side, so we make it very, very difficult for Pain to stop this in aggression, and indeed it will get picked up easily by Just and Khaos. Vetium a little bit out of position, but will backflip the Agni bomb and will root the gang. In fact, will root all 3 by detonating a weave, and Vetium standing in place and doing a quick 360 there. Yeah, oh yeah, no, we know, buddy.
That is Vetium in a nutshell to me. I mean, that's what he's come to be ever since regionals. I mean, we were talking about the 2-man and 3-man spirit arrows that he were hitting. And right there again, he catches it right as Geb falls out of the CC immunity. That's really impressive stuff.
Well, right side mid camp's coming back up shortly. This one will indeed go to enemy. Left side's pending as we approach 11 minutes in this game. It's 2 kills apiece, but enemy building a significant lead off of those 2 kills.
Salt Machine again clearing up. Just rotates over at perfect timing to get this blue buff. He actually walked in right as it spawned. That's going to be another steal and more lost golden experience for Stalker.
Yeah, they have the timer because of Bellona picking it up earlier, and enemy will also take both the mid camps in the last spawn there. So this lead is going to continue to grow up to now well over, or I'm sorry, solidly into the 2,000
mark.
Going for it. Unbots ultimately going to be expended as well. Over the top comes Bellona. One smack of the point and will do it.
Wow.
Thor going to try to return a kill here onto a Just. The Just will once again, for the 3rd time this game, leap away from the Thor ultimate. Thor in a lot of trouble. He mistimed the beads there as well. Will get stunned, but Salt Machine not willing to dive the tower. Khaos, however, maybe a different story here. No.
Threads the needle.
The hot sidestep there from Thor will prevent too much damage coming through from the unstable vortex, but nonetheless, a tier 1 tower will fall in favor of enemy.
They take a kill as well, somehow avoiding the return onto a Just. They get the tier 1. That's a huge win for enemy.
Yeah, huge. And coming out, the CC chain between Salt Machine and Just was crazy. The Humbots all came up, and then as soon as the fear ended, he stunned him, so Wukong couldn't respond ulting. Just great play by enemy.
No Gold Fury so far. She still stands tall at 12 minutes. Much different than what we saw from the Fnatic roster over the past couple days. Trying to work their way over there now. They actually have a pretty big grouping here. I wonder if Brazil will decide to contest.
They do have this Neith for really good secure. She's going to backflip and then use the weave to get double damage off her Spirit Arrow. So it's going to be really hard for Pain to steal this away.
Well, Arkanjo has spotted it out. He's rotated his soul over here. Leashed momentarily by enemy is the Gold Fury, and it does look like that will be the end of the engagement over here on the left side, but still, like 4 members of Pain frozen over here. In fact, all 5 members of Pain on the left side of the map.
And check out Bellona
It just
over
seems
on
like
the
no
other
one
side
wants
of
to
the map.
fight Bellona.
Yeah, well, she could be over there farming, plus she can teleport over when she needs. But remember, she only has a tier 2. Khaos taking some damage. Good shot there.
But she'll just recall, pick up tier 3, and then move into the ward, right?
That's still, 8 seconds versus 3 seconds. That could be the make or break. She should probably take that opportunity sooner, but the teleport just came out from Wukong. They could definitely have a power play now.
Yeah, now Bellona might as well just recall and pick it up, right? I mean, at this point, Gold Fury seems like a foregone conclusion with some Wukong frozen out in the right side lane.
They could try for something now. PainDeViande's back here, though. Controlling, and it looks like vision belongs to enemy over on the right side. It looks like Salt Machine's keeping Stalker stuck under the tower.
And rotating back towards the left side of Salt Machine, he will note that this Orange buff is available. And yeah, he's going to go ahead and just start this one up. Really just force Stalker to fight him over and over and over again.
Pulling Stalker off the tower is probably his most important point right now. He's 3 levels ahead. He wants to continue this boxing match. Hell, he can fight 2 people pretty cleanly here. Thor cannot keep with this Bellona.
Yeah, and to that point, it also forces Thor over to the right side, and in return, enemy will start up the Gold Fury. Vetium has started chipping away at it here. Khaos and Adjust zoning out with the range damage. PainDeViande here as well.
They forced Geb Shield out already. That's pretty big. Now they're going to be able to look for CC on any target.
Bellona, Stalker's in some trouble here. Stalker may be going down. He's going to need to go up into the Somersault Cloud. It is available. Indeed, he will use it. So Salt Machine does force out yet another ultimate. PainDeViande will pick up a kill on Nagare there with the ultimate out of Bacchus. Thor going to try to make it out of time. Will not. Unstable Vortex. Just too much burst out of the Janus. There's a dash forced out from SchultZen as well as a bomb. Salt Machine, it'll just tickle the Bellona as the Gold Fury will be falling shortly for enemy. There doesn't seem to be much chance for Pain to really try to contest this one.
Some crits coming out. They're going for the Gold Fury. It looks like this one's going to be uncontested. The charts will reflect another major objective win as enemy extends their lead even more deeply.
Yeah, Soul thought about it maybe there for a moment. There's a World Weaver coming out as Salt Machine is in the mid lane, smacking around SchultZen. SchultZen going down here. The ultimate from Khaos, in and out. He will go. A stun going to come on the Stalker for PainDeViande, but he will just waddle his way out from underneath the tier 1 tower and happily continue his campaign to, well, stomp all of Pain Gaming, belly flop on top of them. And Well, it hasn't been the same game that PainDeViande we saw in game number 1 with that Geb, but still a highly competent Bacchus.
Chasing Janus. The old pastime of Smite. It's a fun mini game we like to play sometimes.
Look at the difference in the builds right now between the Neith and the Soul. The gold is fairly moderately different, but it's a Bancroft's 2 pen boots going into, well, a tremendous amount of attack speed, Iqbal's Soul Eater boots, and then now also yet another short sword into the Executioner. I mean, this Neith is really unboxable for the Soul for the remainder of the game, given how we've seen Arkanjo try to build up.
We're going to actually switch to the replay real quick. I have to see this come back because we got the Bellona bludgeon, which was so big. We thought it was going to kill. It just barely does it, and then Spirit Gun right to the back. Going to find SchultZen, and then Khaos immediately gets out, puts himself in a bad spot, but he actually winds up getting out of this by going through the mid camps and teleporting right out as he forces 3 people to chase him. Brilliant.
Short sword up and running now for the Son of Wukong as well, pulling quite a bit ahead of the Thor. 800 gold plus that pot explains the 1,500 difference in item.
Bellona's damage is insane. Can we go back to the damage done chart? She's
Yikes, doubling out the next highest.
wow.
And it's Wukong.
Wukong, who is well known for getting quote-unquote free damage. I mean, basically, Cudgel is...
Are you still mad?
It's unmissable.
Are you still mad?
Undodgeable.
Bart hates some Wukong.
I don't think I will ever be not mad at this character, but we'll go into that a little bit later. But basically, Cudgel, right, is free damage. It's nearly unavoidable, that spell, and it does a nice moderate amount.
SchultZen's in some trouble here. Having that down is going to... having that dash down is going to be really difficult for him to make this defense here. He's almost 100% relying on bombs.
If you're wondering how this game is going, look at saltmachine positioning. I don't even think he's returned to the lane yet. He's just sat around blue and orange buff on the right side for Pain Gaming.
Whoa!
And now will make his way to the backside. Nagare going to get exploded there. Agni bombs coming in. And yeah, they'll chip away at the team nicely, but even without healers, it does look like enemy will be able to continue this siege.
You really hate to see a perfect Gebel with perfect Agni ults on top of it and them have that much health afterwards.
Yeah,
right?
and like Thor had already used his abilities in Soul. You know, she's kind of her one-trick pony. And the ultimate, we haven't really even seen the ultimate of Arkanjo in a meaningful way yet this game.
Honestly, I mean, it does decent damage, but you're mainly looking for those stellar bursts right there. Speaking, there's one. She's trying to get away from this. She'll get into the Corporeal form, but now has no way to escape the major danger that's coming. Oh, I thought it just was going to jump in.
Minions are there, tanking up the tower a little bit. Tower down to about 50% HP of the tier 2 here in the mid lane. Enemy looks like they want to continue this siege for now. No major objectives coming up. 2 minutes still for Gold Fury.
Nagare is already back up. His ult was used in the last fight, so I don't think Pain's going to be able to really engage here at all. They're just going to be sitting on this tower looking to defend it. It looks like enemy's going to back up right now.
They did get Soul's beads as well. They may be looking for, if she makes her way out of the tower, to pick her up.
I think one of the biggest things about this gold lead is it's going to give enemies so much room to go into those luxury actives, things like Weakening Curse or Shell, anything to really affect the team fights. But you still see a ton of money invested for Pain into actives, and that's why we're not seeing a lot of items. It's why Salt Machine could just dive the tier 1 chasing a soul. I mean, he's not even having any trouble.
She's got nothing left. Down you will go, indeed. Soul ultimate is used, but to no great effect there. Vetium, he's going to be cleanly hitting that tower. Yeah, very nice on Civil Vortex, flipping to Stalker. Not in the best position there on that Son of Wukong. 50% HP is not enough to feel safe with the CC chain as possible. But I guess without Bludgeon over on that side of the map, you're maybe feeling a little bit better.
So SchultZen trying to defend against one here as Bellona takes a trip back to the base. She does have teleport available to her, albeit tier 2. SchultZen taking a lot of damage, and we're going to get a teleport from Wukong, it seems.
Yeah, Wukong's going to move it over here to the left side of the map, and this makes it easy for Bellona to port in as well. Bacchus, he's pushing up the mid lane. He's going to force Thor to stay there and respect the Bacchus in hands. He will likely get to the mid tower as well. He just doesn't care. PainDeViande really knowing basically exactly how much he can stretch this. Now getting down to about 50%,
or 60%
HP. You know, he would have had to start bugging out there, but it doesn't matter. Tier 2 still successfully secured by a Bacchus of all things.
Little by little, they're finding these wins. They're getting objectives. They're getting towers. They're getting 1 kill at a time, 2 kills at a time, maybe even trading in some regard. But suddenly 10,000 gold lead, suddenly 11.5 thousand gold lead.
You got to think a Fire Giant is going to be the next major look for enemy.
How many times has Bacchus and Batz jumped out of Agni stuns, Thor ults? It's just been I can't even count how many times this game. It's just over and over again.
Yes, you can. Come on.
It's been like the hallmark of this game, I'd say. That's, you know, when we think back to the games that were played at the SWC, we'll go, remember that game where enemy just dodged like every major stun on the side of Pain?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and this is it. This is that one that we're talking about 2 weeks in the future.
Adjust, still clearing up. He's level 16 right now, 2 levels ahead of Mag. And he continues to farm. I mean, that's what he needs to do. The only level 20 on the board right now is Salt Machine, which is 2 levels ahead of Khaos, who's the next highest.
He's 4 levels ahead of his lane opponent, Stalker.
Oof.
and some absurd amount of net worth, nearly 3,000 gold.
Is it
individually
really?
head. Yeah, and well, Vetium doing what Vetium does best, standing still and holding down left click.
I mean, and look at the two, the Warriors, right? It's a full Frostbound Hammer plus the end of the Stone of Gaia over the other Warrior. I mean,
Look at the position
there's no
again
way to
from enemy.
do it.
Why is PainDeViande here?
I mean,
Like,
why not?
Like, legitimately, why is he in that position? He came from behind that Sun Wukong while Bellona was taking blue buff.
He's trying to get back to the base here. They're going to need to make a defense. It seems like next is going to be the right side tier 2. They could also try to pressure for the left Phoenix. The left Phoenix being super worth right now as it'll provide pressure on the left side of the lane so they can try to go for the right side Fire Giant.
So I feel like Pain's best chance to get back into this game or win a team fight is either a fight on a Phoenix or a fight on Fire Giant. It looks like enemy might pull Fire Giant right now. Or it looks like they're just setting up for it.
I think they're
don't know if
perfectly
they
happy
actually pulled it.
just to force Pain to fight at
Yeah.
Fire Giant, right? And that's got to be the call for now.
Salt machine here.
They can't burst him down. I mean, they, an extended engagement, maybe they find him, but they've...
That's all 3 Agni bombs.
Yeah, they've isolated Thor over
Spirit
here.
gun.
Oh my god!
Bang.
Khaos, once again showing off why he is what I would say is maybe what should be one of the more feared mid laners in North America. I mean, that is an unbelievable amount of damage. Yeah, this
it's getting worse.
Could be getting pretty close to the pack where the base is going to get broken on the side of enemy. But I mean, to hit a ultimate and an unstable vortex at the same time on Janus is pretty unbelievable there. As the City of Alpharetta will pick up yet another tower kill.
I do not see a level 16 Soul or a level 16 Sun Wukong in 21 minutes stealing this away. Not against 5.
I'm not going to say that I just like absolutely hate it and it's the worst thing ever, this Soul build, but it ain't good. Not in this situation. I mean,
yeah,
the second game in a row where he's gone
no
for this, where he's gone for this full kind of mage build, and it just makes it way too easy for this Bellona to just laugh in his face. I mean, just simply
Vetium's low.
Going for that.
Stalker's lower.
Defense. Yeah, Stalker's going to get exploded in the CC chain there, but that Stone of Gaia completely mitigates anything Soul is able to do. Agni does have the Spear of the Magus to help out a little bit, but it just has been too little too late.
Just so smart by enemy. They knew they should pull off Fire Giant when Stalker went into his ult because they know the only way they can lose this game is if they get some kind of miracle.
Again, the teleport, does he take it? He's going in. They're trying for it. He does take to the sky. Thor is going to find nothing but retreat as the Fire Giant falls 12-2. Enemies looking real good.
22 minutes and 20 seconds into this one, enemy. They're going to fall back to their base, pick up their next set of items, and look to make their way in and start cracking away at some of these Phoenixes here. On track for about a 27-minute victory if they can break this base clean and easy. But with the XP and gold that they got, it doesn't look like it's much that Pain's going to be able to do to deny them.
I can think of 2 throws that were 15,000 gold or higher, both of which in my head date back to 2013.
Launch tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking like old school, like the bipolar method roster, right? I haven't seen that in a long time, which means Pain Gaming is basically praying at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like usually what we'll say in this kind of situation is that it's gotten past the point of a team fight. It's now you got to win a couple team fights, and one of them needs to be basically at the Fire Giant if you're going to have any chance of getting back in this game, because you're going to need to wipe all of the objectives. Can we take a quick look at the structure damage dealt by Pain Gaming here? And you'll notice that there is none.
Yep. That hurts. And look at Vetium, 54-60.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's just the way she goes, Brandon.
They're rushing down 2 lanes. I think we're going to see another split here. Salt Machine.
Pretty unbelievable that Sun Wukong didn't get a single in-hand off on a tier 1 tower as a solo laner.
It's got some minion hits.
Well, guys, enemy going to be looking to push into the base here. Let's take a listen in with the enemy comms as they look to close out Pain Gaming.
They're going to play for the blink. I'm going in. They're so fucking scared. Let's get
yeah, Bacchus is off on this side. They might be able
That's
to defend
one ball down.
Wait, there's a Wukong behind us. There's a Wukong behind us, guys. Just so you know.
Push your middle, push your middle. Push your middle here, with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, Dad. I'm with you, Dad.
Wait, hold on.
Tank it, Dad.
Go for it, Salt.
Dad.
That's scared. Oh, okay. That's my heavenly, that's my shell. I'm in the back of that. Soul. Got him, boys. Keep going on Soul. Thor. Knock up. Throw it back. Where you at? Soul, Thor. And we can just end the game.
Yeah.
Phoenix end game. Solo him.
Vetium putting the work to Thor there, kiting around, going back through that Janus portal as well. And your enemy, we can end. Indeed, you can. A deicide coming out on the side of Pain Gaming. An enemy will move on. Get another round as the North American Dark Horse takes down another opponent.
How many teams are they going to have to beat until they're taken seriously, Bart?
I would say that enemy
2 more?
is right now looking like, well, yeah, 2 more is a good one. But, I mean, looking forward for enemy's next few matchups, I do think that this is potentially the #1 contender right now. I mean, how they played this tournament. Granted, we haven't seen Cloud9.
Yes.
We'll see how they play, but they look pretty damn good as enemy.
That was incredible. I mean, Pain, they held their own for a long time against Epsilon, and it seems like enemy looks more just together.
Yeah, poised.
And you have to remember,
One unit.
Pain had a huge lead at the start of this game, so it just shows how good of a team enemy is to come back like that.
Well, guys, with that wraps up the commentary desk for set number 2. Let's toss it down to Kelly Link
No desk.
with the ever so gregarious PainDeViande. Take it away, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Bart. I am joined here by PainDeViande. Congratulations on your win. You know, your teammates are newer compared to a lot of the other North American and European teams here, and a lot of people probably didn't give you the credit and your team the credit that they deserve. What do you have to say to those people now?
Every tournament, we go against anyone, it doesn't matter. Predictions are enemy's gonna lose against every single team. And guess what happens? Enemy wins. So I'm assuming in the next round against Paradigm, people are gonna predict that we're gonna lose, right? And guess what's gonna happen? And then in the finals, guess what's gonna happen? So here it is, boys.
All right, let's say you make it to the finals. Which team do you want to face?
I kind of want C9 to make it because NA Master Race, right? But but I kind of want to face Epsilon because they struggle against these guys, and we kind of just walked on them right now. So, I mean,
I'm going to take the mic away from you right now. All right, guys, we got Cloud9 versus QG coming up next. Let's go to the analysts.
All right, some strong words there from enemy. You know, looking good.
Not America, but the North America. So,
North America. That's,
Pain's from Canada, so it kind of counts. I guess.
we got our friends up north. You know what I mean? They're just a colder America anyway. With better health care. That's just essentially what they are.
Hey man,
right?
don't be. Let's not start with health
They have great health care.
They do have fantastic.
I'm complimenting, and they produce Justin Bieber. And Tom Green, and all these. I don't think that cheers for that. I'm almost certain that cheers not for that. Any case, though, everyone. I mean, it's been I would say a very stressful road for Pain Gaming, but Pain Gaming certainly fought valiantly. Enemy, just a talented squad. And they are, as we actually go ahead and take a look at the Logitech First Blood here in just a second. Adonis, why don't you set this one up for us?
So this was actually a pretty big misplay by Adjust. You can see here, he actually jumps onto the Agni after the Janus gets the portal. But the Janus is backing off, right? I mean, Khaos doesn't want to fight this. Just a miscommunication. And then Madruga is able to pick up the First Blood. So just a little bit of miscommunication. Adjust thought that they wanted to fight the 2v2 after they got that massive amount of poke. And Khaos didn't, so.
Yeah, so that, of course, folks, when you're talking about enemy, right, this team, they are, as Bart had said, the North American dark horse, right? Now, was that Bort being Bort, or was that actually the case? Or, are these teams now the North American dark horse? Because even DM said, how many teams do these guys need to beat? Of course, the joke is 2. But, I mean, take them seriously, right?
Yeah, so definitely, I think enemy is the Titan of last year, where no matter who they were going against, people, that's right? People were saying they're not going to win, right? They're like, they were not going to win this game, they're not going to win this one, and then they win it. They're like, they're not going to win this one, and then they win it.
We all thought last year that you guys sucked, essentially.
I mean, okay, all right. I'm gonna agree. Everyone came in saying, nah, Titan aren't gonna win, they're gonna lose this match, and you know what? They were wrong. But I think that PainDeViande, we were
for the final.
Until they were right.
Until they were right.
All right.
Honestly, too soon. Too soon.
I think that Pain is taking the team in a different direction. We were the traditional underdogs, we were nice, and I think Pain is going for he's going for the villains. That all that talk on stage, he is going for the bad boy of Smite. So honestly, I think that's refreshing.
It's so hard to see.
It's great for storytelling.
They were smiling the whole time. Like you can't. It's like kind of like being a bad boy and like grinning from ear to ear. It's just I don't know, either that or like I said before, you're just crazy. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what Pain is. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this matchup here. Game 2, you ended up seeing, Adjust just doing work again. I mean, absolutely talented player there. What were some of the takeaways in the jungle for you?
Just kind of losing that first blood, losing his red pot. He was, not only 400 or 500 gold behind because he lost first blood, but also that 450 additional gold for losing that red pot. But he was able to just farm up nicely. There wasn't crazy engagements, and he played a very defensive style until he finally got even, and then he could find picks in the jungle, just like on this Agni here.
It was incredible play coming out from Pain Gaming yet again in the early game. We saw them playing very strongly, not making any mistakes until the point where all the mistakes were made. It's so strange to see that they can play so strong up to a point, and then you can see it slowly starting to fall apart as the North American, European metas really start to come together, where the focus is all on that mid game.
So speaking of the North American, European meta, actually we'll get to that in a second and talk about map control here at 5 minutes in. So mid Harpies control for Pain Gaming. They were looking really good there at that 5 minute mark, winning that a little bit more than Enemy was. But then as we started to see the game progress, you like a seesaw, just swung right over to the other side, and then Enemy from there just kept the good times rolling on.
It's definitely one of those areas where it's just Pain Gaming has that great start, and the picks are strong, and I love being able to see all of these incredible picks coming out, but Enemy showing veteranship, coming out saying, hey, even if we lose a little bit in the early game, that's fine, we're going to transition, and they had such strong jungle clear there at the end of the game. You saw getting upwards of 60% of the jungle. That's just showing how much dominance they had towards the end of the game.
For me, a big part of this was saltmachine, and I think that we've seen through this tournament, Bellona is tearing it up. Maybe it's a new cinematic, it's really hyping all the Bellona players up, but she is actually ridiculous at the moment. Her win rate and pick rate is through the roof. Do you think that maybe teams are going to start banning her out now?
I think she's definitely going to start to see some bans pretty quickly here. I mean, I think she was banned once or twice.
It's Epsilon and Fnatic are the only teams that have banned her out so far. So clearly those teams, because they were scrimming each other, have figured it out. You know what, she's not worth letting through.
Well, I had thought in game 2 that Pain would ban out Bellona.
I thought that was definitely a possibility as well.
Because, the Xingten went early, and that's one god you got to be careful about. And then everyone, I mean, it was a kind of just like a meme in the crowd with DM at this point, where Bellona was just, too good. And everyone's like, yeah, Bellona.
Yeah, Brandon's like, what is this? And the crowd go, Bellona!
Yeah, that's it.
It's just Bellona things.
It's just, just another day in the office for Bellona. So I don't know. Honestly, I think that, that should have been their plan. And the fact that they didn't do that, maybe they felt like that Sun Wukong could counter it, which did not happen, at all.
The worst part, I think, about the Sun Wukong is that I also bought a red pot, 450 gold, and then I think 5 or 6 minutes in, he was already 1,000 gold behind, plus the 450 he invested. You buy the red pot to either look for a kill very early, or you need it to help your clear. Didn't help him either way, and he really struggled. And right now, solo laners kind of across the world are being some of the biggest difference makers in these matches. There's very few games are going into late game with the solo laners having been even. One's usually dominating the other and making a much bigger impact.
When your solo laner is behind, it's so much harder to win right now in Smite because you need them for that mid-game transition. They're going to have the teleport so they can get to the team fight. And if your solo laner is 2 levels above the other solo laner, that's an incredible difference. And especially if it's a Bellona, there's nothing you can do.
And just real quick, Ataraxia, you also have dabbled in the solo laner realm. A lot of question marks for that Sun Wukong pick. Everyone was like, really? You guys were questioning that quite a bit. And I want to reference a statement I made earlier where it's like, there were other options, but they just went with this one. Why, right? And why do you think that's the case? Is it, and when we even asked QE, he said, he's not very familiar with, Sun Wukong being played by Pain. So what was the reasoning behind it? Was it just because hoping that the red pot really worked out for them?
Yeah, I mean, Wukong was a very popular pick before his most recent nerfs. And the one way that he beat Bellona in lane was by going for the red pot. I said off air, they picked this Wukong. He has to go red pot, otherwise he's just going to get smashed. And then he got smashed anyway, regardless of it, so it just made it worse. But I think that was basically the thinking, because Wukong outside of lane, that's where he really struggles at the moment, is in lane, because he gets bullied so much because he doesn't have a lot of HP anymore. But outside of lane, he has a fantastic kit, especially with some CDR on board, to really just keep dishing that damage. And he's never the first one to die. He's always there until the very end, and that's kind of the strength of Wukong, in that maybe you pick him to match Bellona's presence in team fights, but obviously if you don't get out of the lane early at the same time and even, then it doesn't pan out.
Well, unfortunately for Pain, their journey ends here, but Enemy will continue to live on and fight another day. They move on to the next round where they will face off against Paradigm. As you can see in the bracket, that's going to take place tomorrow. Our first matchup at the top of the show. Super excited for this one. You guys should be in the crowd as well. Coming up next, though, we have the crowd favorites. Everyone knows and loves them. The 2015 Smite World Champions Cloud9 will be facing off against China's QG Reapers. I'm a big C9 fan myself. FYI, just want to say this because you know how I've been right all weekend long. Okay. You know this guy. 2015 Smite World Championships. Who picked Cog Prime to win? This guy. It was my first time doing this thing, too.
Traitor.
You know? So, well, I hate to break it to you, man, but...
That's actually why.
That's why we lost. It's Golden Boy's predictions. He's always right.
The golden prediction. There you go.
You owe me a lot of money, Golden Boy.
But before we go, though, as a matter of fact, we want to let you guys know about some of the cool things that we are doing here at the Smite World Championships. Things that you guys can purchase at home. Actually, pretty cool things as well. So Bonafide's doing an awesome buy one, get one half off sale, okay, on the Pantheon shirts. All you got to do is go to smite.clothing. Now, I did not know that .clothing was an actual domain name. It literally blew my mind away. So just go to the site for the pure epicness of that ending domain name. How is it?
It's not smiteclothing.com.
No, it's not smiteclothing.com. It's literally smite.clothing.
You have no idea how confusing it's been all year.
I can only, that just blew my mind away, man. It was like a revelation. Also, our friends at Hit Points are actually doing a cool thing as well. All you got to do is go to smite.hitpoint.tv. Use the promo code HPSWC. 10% all Smite merch, people. So once again, go to smite.hitpoint.tv. 10% using that promo code HPSWC. And lastly, one of the things that I actually want to talk about, because it's funny, you know, we sit here at the desk, we talk about a lot of the promotions and things that we're doing here. And Jetpack Fighter actually came out for hi-rez. And you can actually get the awesome Leona Nemesis skin in Smite by trying out the new iOS game. And I actually want to show you guys something, because last night I was in my hotel room, and I was bored. I was actually watching Barack Obama's town hall meeting thing, you know, because that's what I do, right? I'm not a very entertaining person. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to download Jetpack Fighter. So I did. I downloaded Jetpack Fighter, and then I opened up my fighter section, and I end up getting Nemesis in the game. You can actually play as Nemesis in the game. Look at that. Nemesis right there. Right, I got these giant gloves on her because it punches harder. It's actually pretty cool. So I honestly, I know people are like, oh, totally were paid to say that. Look, man, either way, right? I think the game's cool. So check it out if you get a chance. Pretty cool game and really fun to play. So once again, Jetpack Fighter, it's in the iOS store. Give that one a try. But that's going to do it for us right now. But in the meantime, though, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we are going to have Cloud9 G2A versus QG Reapers. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
You have chosen wisely, Grasshopper. I am the Dojo Grandmaster, or something like that. Just getting my yellow belt should be enough to crush these guys. Can I get some nunchucks? Hi-ya! Power up! Shisha! Skadoosh! My moves are fast as lightning. This thing barely even fought back. Hey, nice try, big guy. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Hey, I'm a martial arts master. Well, I've been practicing for 3 days, which is pretty much forever to me. I'm gonna hit you and it's gonna be like whoosh, and you're gonna be like, eh. Ancient kung fu secret. Use wards. I ward. So did my father and his father before him.
Here we are in none other than the wonderful, wonderful Smite hi-rez, the conference room here where everything is taking place. And I am not alone. I'm not standing around here. I'm joined by the wonderful Amanda from the community team at hi-rez. Amanda, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. This has been just an amazing experience.
Now, Amanda, beyond just being somebody that you're talking to from the community side, also has gone ahead and I'd say kind of hit it out of the park in her Bellona cosplay. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I'm dressed up as Battle Maiden Bellona, who is Bellona's recolor. I've done it through Cosplay Q Up, our YouTube show, and it's just been so much fun to make this armor and have people recognize me here.
Now, a big question is, a lot of people ask, especially in events, how long does it take to put something like this together?
Well, I've been working on this for most of the year, so I'd say 80 hours. Yeah, a lot of Netflix.
A lot of Netflix, a lot of dedication. We love that. Now, people that are totally dedicated to cosplay are actually going to have a huge moment in the sun here at the Smite World Championships tomorrow. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're having our cosplay contest tomorrow at 11. So if you're in costume, come down to the media room at 11 a.m. We're going to show off some cosplayers a little bit earlier too, and we're so excited for that.
I hope that maybe if I ask really nicely, Amanda will actually join me maybe on the pre-game show tomorrow, and we can actually meet some of the cosplayers there. What's on the line for the guys that have all come down and are taking part in the cosplay competition?
Well, besides bragging rights, we have these beautiful medals, as well as $20,000 in prizes.
I'm sorry, I think you may have a fan. Hey, look, the competition is amazing. The cosplay is fantastic. Amanda, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Thank this guy for falling in love, which is totally understandable. Well played, GG. Anything you want to say to the people who are out there from the community side?
Well, if you're not cosplaying, you totally should, because it's a ton of fun and it's a great way to show Smite and your passions.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it better. Guys, Amanda, round of applause, Bellona stuff. Everybody here, you guys having fun? They are indeed. Back over, there's lots more to come.